It's Deb here with Creative Life. Thanks for subscribing and commenting. And today we are on day number 9 with our 12 days of Christmas. So I am excited today because I made something with my dies that I think you all might like. And y'all can try it out too. It's simple. It's really easy, and it's a Christmas decor that you can make in a day, or actually in an hour maybe. It is kind of, I don't want to say time consuming, but as far as like cutting out your dies and everything to go along with it, you will need to do that. And then maybe an embossing folder, you'll need some glitter, and stuff like that. So this is a lantern, and actually I've been kind of thinking of this project for a long time. I just haven't had time to do it, and so I thought, you know what, why not do it now? So it's actually cut out with my dies, and then we put little strips in between the dies to bind them together or bond them together. And then that's it. And then I just did some ribbon in through here and then made a little bottom for it. And then you can put a tea light or a candle inside. Probably a tea light would be better. I put an actual candle in it. I actually kind of burned it just for a second. I didn't want it to catch on fire, but I would put like one of those little lighted tea lights, or maybe, again, those little string of lights that you can get over at the dollar store, and those would probably work out really good for this project. So, and then I just used some of my little flowers that look like poinsettias. I just put those on there with some other dies that I had in my stash that I previously had used and actually taken off of another project and reused them on this project. So, and then I bought these from the dollar store, and I thought these were super cool. And I didn't know what I was going to use them for, but I thought it looked really cute on this one, and it says Merry Christmas on it. So I actually did another lantern out of this, and these are dies as well. This is my rectangle die with another fancy die, and I'm going to tell you the dies that I used. So if you have them in your arsenal of dies, you can use those. And then I just I did vellum and embossed the vellum with one of my embossing folders, and then just stuck some of the garland. It's like tinsel garland that you can get at the dollar store. And I went ahead and put that on there on the top, and then again made a bottom for the little lantern. So I'm going to show you guys how to put this together. So what you will need is one 12 by 12 piece of decorative paper, okay? And then you're going to need one sheet of 8.5 by 11 vellum paper, okay? And I just used I actually used my scrap pieces of paper vellum that I had on hand. And then I went ahead and used this snowflake embossing folder. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just for a sec. Okay, there we go. So I used this snowflake embossing folder, okay? And I don't know if you guys can see the snowflakes on there. And then what I did was, after I embossed it, okay, so I'm going to this is one of the ones that I embossed. I just took my little glue pad, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did. Now you can add your glitter if you know a different way. There's lots of different ways you can add your glitter onto your paper, okay. So I just took my glue pad and I just went ahead and put it on top of my vellum, okay, just like this. Okay, and you can get these stamp pads over at the I think pretty much any type of crafting store. Okay, and then I went ahead and took my. I used iridescent ice on this one, and that's a Stampin' Up glitter. Okay, so I used iridescent ice on this one, and it looked really pretty. And then on this one, I used a different glitter because I wanted to see the difference between the two. And this one is the Silk Microfine Glitter. It's the Cool Diamonds, and it is by Elizabeth Craft Designs. And I kind of liked this one. I like them both. This one just added a little bit a lighter of touch to it. It was just more fine to the touch than the other. I'm going to go ahead and put some more. And you want to make sure that your paper has the glue on it, okay? And there are lots of YouTube videos out there that show you how to put glitter on paper. So if you don't like this particular type of way to do it, you can always look on YouTube and see what's out there. But this is just how I put my glitter on, okay? So, and then I'm just going to go ahead and slide that on there, just like that. Okay, and that's what it looks like when you're done. Okay. And let me check real quick. I just want to make sure my autofocus is out, you guys. Off, I should say. Yeah, it is off. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, so then I set this aside to dry. Okay, so once it's embossed and I put my glue on there, and then I glitter it up, I set it aside to dry. Okay. So I'm just going to set that aside real quick. And then... and I've cut out all of my stuff already, okay? So we wouldn't be here for a long time. So I just want to show you all what I used. Again, the glue pad, and then the microfine glitter by Elizabeth Craft. And I think Michael's has a microfine glitter as well. And then they're stamping up iridescent ice. Okay, and then for this particular, I'm using Really Reasonable Ribbons, metallic satin ribbons, okay, and their ribbons are really nice, y'all. So I showed you the embossing folder that I used already, okay. Now let me show you the dies that I used, okay. So for the first die, I used... or for this one here, okay, I used this die set here, which is the Nestabilities Mix and Match Radiant Rectangles, okay, and that is part of this set, okay, so I used the circle and then the this one here, so I combined those two together to get that little oval shape with the little frillies on the side there. That's what I used for that, okay? And then for the rectangle part, okay, I cut out my frames, okay? I used just your basic A2 matting rectangles, okay? So that's what I used there. All right, and I believe I used the third, let's see, well, it would be 1, 2, 3. I used the fourth one and the fifth one together. Okay, so those are the two that I used. And then, okay, so those two are for this one here, okay? And when you cut those out, you're going to need 4 of each item. Okay, so 4 frames, 4 of these, 4 of your vellums that are glittered and embossed. And then you're going to also want to cut out 4 1-inch strips, okay, that are as tall as your frames. Okay, so let's say you're doing a little one, okay, and you don't need this tall of strips to put them together. So let me see, I'm looking for my ruler, y'all. So Oh, here it is. Right in front of me. So, like, these here were cut at, let's see here. My strips were cut at 4 1/8. Okay, so one by 4 1/8 inches. And then I went ahead and just scored them down the middle at a 1/2 inch. And then I put them on the sides. And I'm going to show you guys how I did that, okay? And then I attached everything together just like a box, okay, all the way around. So that's what I used for that one. For this little lantern here, okay, I went ahead and I used this die set, okay? And this one is the A2 Fancy Ribbon Threader. So that's the one I used. And I actually turned it around. So see how here it has this part at the bottom? I actually turned it the other way. So when you stand up, it's standing up this way with your threader at the top part instead of the bottom part. Okay? So you're going to cut 4 of these out if you have this particular nestability die, okay, Spellbinders die. Then I cut out 4 strips at 1 inch, okay, and they're 1 inch by 4 1/2, okay, and I went ahead and scored it down the middle, and then I put score tape on either side of my strips, and I cut 4 of these out, okay. Then you're going to cut out 4 pieces of vellum, okay? And your vellum, it depends on what frame you, again, what nestability die or whatever die you're using, on how, what your measurement's going to be for your window, okay? Because we're going to cut this into a window, all right? And so, and I'm going to show you how I did that. And so, like for me, for instance, I think these are 3 3/3 by 4 1/4, I believe. Yeah, by 4 1/4. So 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay. So that's what I did there. Now, to get all of your items together, okay, you can use your score tape. Now, you're probably going to need your score tape and your glue, because even though I put score tape along this area, I noticed that I still had, like, some of it didn't want to stick down, and it was probably because of the glitter. So I just went ahead and added glue to some of the parts in here, okay? And they stuck down pretty good. So, or you can use your glue gun, so if you wanted to do that, okay? So to get your little windows, we're going to do our window first, okay? I took my die, this die here, I sat it on top of my little cutout that I did, my die cut, and then I held it and I turned it upside down, okay? And then I just took my pencil, and I drew a line around that window there, okay? So that's how I did that. And then what I did was I took my X-Acto knife or your scissors, whatever, you know, whatever you feel more comfortable with. And I'm looking for my X-Acto knife. What I did with it. Let's see if it's over here. Nope, it's not there. I don't know what I did with it. Okay, well, I don't know where it went, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it with my scissors. So when I had my X-Acto knife, I went ahead and just cut a line between here, or an X right in the center of my lines, okay? So then that way I knew exactly where to cut. And I'm still looking for it because I know it is around here somewhere. I know it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of my little box cutters, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Okay. Right in here. And again, I just do an X right in the middle. Okay. And then once I'm done with that part, okay, I go ahead and I grab my scissors. And I don't know if I should go in again. I go in one more, you guys. Okay. And I just go ahead and start cutting, okay, into my little area here. And I just keep cutting until I have like a little border around, and I feel a little bit more comfortable cutting on the edge of that. So, okay. So like here I have a little border, so now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and just start cutting around that little line that I drew. Okay, and then go ahead and just keep cutting all the way around, just like this. Okay, and then once you're done cutting this, I am not the most straight person to cut. I tell you, my lines are not ever straight, you guys. So if I ever cut anything, I usually try to use my trimmer. And you probably could use your trimmer for this. So you could probably put it in your trimmer. Go ahead and cut since you drew the lines and stuff. Okay. All right. So there you go. So then there is your window. So then once you get your window done, okay, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your strip. Okay. And you're going to go ahead, and I went ahead and just lined it up. You're going to turn the folded part outwards onto your right hand side. Okay, so your opened areas are going to be on the inside. Okay, so here you're going to go ahead and take off this part and this part. And I'm going to go ahead and just put that down right on the edge of that one. Okay. And then you're going to grab the one that you just cut, and you're going to stick that right on the edge of the one that the little strip that you just did, just like that. Okay, so there you go. So now you're going to have like this little edge right here, and you can just cut that off. And you're going to have to cut it on both sides here. So how I did mine is I just went ahead and just clipped it here, here. And this is where I used my X-Acto knife as well. And I just kind of, once I clipped it here and here, I just went ahead and took my X-Acto knife and then went straight down. So you could always use your ruler for that if you wanted to. So I'm going to just grab this and grab my ruler and see, hopefully. And then there you go. So that's how I got mine off. Or if you want, like I said, you could just cut it off. And you can just grab it. And then just put your scissors in there and cut all the way down. Okay, there you go. So there is that. And then the ribbon part, how I did mine is I just went ahead and got my glue. And I put my glue down first. Put this part through here. Stuck it down. And that's kind of where I knew how much I needed for my ribbon. So I just went ahead and cut a little bit off. Just going to cut it about right. Oh, cut it right there. So, and then I went through my little areas here. And like I said, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I don't know if anybody's ever done something like this or not, where they've made lanterns. I mean, I know that there's dyes that make lanterns, but I just thought this would be really fun during Christmas, so you can put a candle in it. So there we go. Oops. So, and then once I get my my ribbon at the end, I just put glue there and go ahead and just glue that down. And then this is where I get my tape, and I've been using a 1/4 inch tape, okay? And this is where you want to go ahead. And now I went to each frame individually. I did not put my tape straight across, and the reason why is because of the folds. So that's why I did it. I just did it different. So now we're going to put on our little vellum. And again, I just went ahead and just went straight across. The ribbon here, I just went ahead and went straight across the ribbon on the bottom part. Okay, and I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that that's burnished down really good. And I'm going to take off these ones here. Okay. And if you have any that are poking out the side of your frame, just push it back over. And then after you do that, then you're going to go ahead and grab your glue, put some glue around. And again, you can use your hot glue gun if you want to. I'm not sure how, I had to let it dry for a little bit, so I'm not sure how, hopefully this will stick pretty quick. I don't know. So, we will find out. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. So once you get that done, okay, so once we get this part done, we're going to go ahead and add our other vellum on here. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue on there. Like that. Put my vellum on top of there. And you can burnish it down. I tried to on the other one, and the burnishing didn't seem to matter, like if you do it with your hands or whatever, your little scrapers. So, okay. And then you're going to go ahead and push these two sides together, okay? So again, you're going to get your strip, and you're going to go ahead and put your strip on one of the sides, and you're just going to put your folded edge along the end of that die cut, okay? Just like that, okay? Then you're going to just take this off, and you're going to go ahead and bring this over, and you're just going to go ahead and attach it. So, just like that, okay? And there is your little lantern so far. So next we got to do the bottom part. So the bottom part, now depending again on which die you use, okay, if you are making a small one like this, my bottom part measured it measured 4 by 4, okay, and then I scored it at 3/8, okay, to get it to go around my box, the bottom part, okay. And then for this larger one, I believe I cut it at, let's see here, I cut it at 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then we will score it at 3/8. So I'm just going to bring up my scoreboard real quick. So you're going to score at 3/8, okay. And I'm just turning it around. Whoops. Alrighty. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. And depending on your paper, you know, some papers are thicker than others, so you may need to burnish your score lines in a little bit more. And so there we go. And then to do this part, I just went ahead and grabbed my scissors and I cut in between my little score lines. So just like that. Okay, and you're going to have some little flaps. So I just cut right in between my score lines, or on either side of my score line, I should say. And then I just ripped those little tiny pieces off. That. now you're left with little flaps, and those are going to go on the inside. Okay. Now, your bottom part is going to be the decorative part, okay? If you want your inside to be decorative, oops, put that on the wrong side. If you want your inside to be decorative, you can cut a mat for it. And I did the same thing here. Okay. And so to cut a mat for your inside of your box, you would just measure the bottom part of this. So it'd be like 3/4, it looks like. I would do, yeah, it says 3/4 by 3/4 maybe. So, so if you wanted to do a little mat, which I haven't done yet. So let's see here. It's a little snug, so if you wanted to, you could just take like a little teeny tiny piece off. Oops. And there you go. So there you go. So then that's how you would get like a mat for the bottom if you wanted it decorative, okay? If you had a white piece and you had like a double-sided pattern paper. So, and then this is just going to go right over the top of that, okay? And what I did for this, you can do either glue or you can do your score tape, whatever you would like to do. And I think I'm just going to, with my score tape, how I did it was I actually just went around the whole base of it. So I just started here and I went ahead and just with my finger burnished it in, went around this part. Burnished it in, went around this part, burnished it in, and then I just, until I got to the other side, the last side of that box, and then burnished that in. That way it's just easier. You take off one full piece of tape. And then I just fit my box right over my lantern. And then after I got it in there, then that's when I pressed my sides together to make sure that my little bottom part was secured all the way on the bottom. And I just went ahead and with my hand, I just burnished everything in. But you can grab, you know, if you have a bone folder, you could turn it on its side and burnish that in. Just stick your fingers in there and burnish that down the best you can. So it's all on one bottom piece now. Just like that, okay? And just keep burnishing it in till it's secure. So there is your little lantern. So, and then of course you can add whatever you want on these. I mean, you know, if you wanted to add little little poinsettias, you know, you could do that. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple here, just like that. And I'll add one on this side. That. And then, let's see, have any more of that other greenery. So maybe I'll just go ahead and add like a little Merry Christmas right here. And I'm just going to use my hot glue gun to do that. I used my glue for the other one, and that seemed to work pretty good. Just like that. So there you go. So there is that. And then I just need one more poinsettia, but I don't know where it went. So I'll probably add, I don't know, I'll add something. So there is our lantern. So so I hope you guys like this and try it out. And again, I would, I wouldn't put lighted candles inside, but maybe those little switch on tea light candles that you can get over at the dollar store. And so this is another way you can use your dies in a different way. I mean, thinking differently on how you can use them. And so anyway, I'm glad I shared this with you guys, and I hope that you all like it and enjoy making one or two or three. So, thanks so much for joining me, and don't forget to follow the links below to all the other gals' YouTubes and see what they made for our 12 days of Christmas. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!